Is the Night's King a Stark? Old Nan thought so. If she was right, it changes everything. So what does it all mean? Let's find out. When Bran and his companions reached the Night Fort deep on their journey north, they paused for a while, searching its cold, haunted halls before deciding to rest in the old kitchens. The Night Fort is ancient, older than memory itself, and with it come stories whispered in the dark, legends that chill the soul. Among them, one story Bran could never forget. Old Nan had told him long ago in Winterfell, about the Night's King, the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. A man who lost his soul to a woman not quite human. He had seen her from atop the wall, skin pale as moonlight, eyes burning blue as frozen stars. Fearless, he chased her, and when he caught her, he loved her. Though her touch was cold as death, he brought her back to the Night Fort. There he declared her his queen and himself her king. With strange sorcery, he bound his sworn brothers to his will. For 13 long years, the Night's King and his corpse queen ruled in shadow, until a Stark of Winterfell and Joramun of the Free Folk united to end his reign and free the Watch from bondage. When his rule fell, it was discovered that he had been sacrificing to the others. Every record of him was destroyed, his name erased from history. Old Nan would always end her tale the same way. Some say he was a Bolton, others a Magnar from Skagos, some an Umber or Flint or Nori. But she would lean close, her voice a whisper. He was a Stark, the brother of the man who brought him down. Maybe his name was Brandon. Perhaps he slept in this very bed, she'd say, in this very room. Old Nan loved scaring the Stark children with her tales. But what if there was truth in her words? George R.R. Martin himself has said that the Night's King in the books, spelled with an S, is a legend, a myth from the Age of Heroes. But legends often hide fragments of truth. He warned us not to take these tales literally. Yet the echoes of the past always leave something behind. The Night's King, whoever he was, remains a figure of darkness, connected to the others, and perhaps to the old magics of the North. If he truly existed, his story likely began not long after the first long night. His identity, lost to time. In the world of Ice and Fire, Maester Yandel writes of the tale, only to dismiss it. He suggests the Night's King was merely a Lord Commander, who tried to carve out a petty kingdom for himself, a tale twisted by generations into something far darker. Perhaps, but Old Nan's version feels different, personal. It ties the story not to myth, but to blood. Stark blood, so maybe we shouldn't dismiss it, because the others were dismissed too, until they weren't. Many Lords Commander have been Starks, and if one of them, long ago, fell to darkness, it could explain much about the Starks' strange, cursed bond with Winterfell. Why must the Starks always remain there? Why do the spirits of their dead linger in the crypts, never leaving, never free? Why do the statues of old kings hold swords across their laps as if to trap something beneath? It doesn't feel like an honor. It feels like a punishment, bound to Winterfell, generation after generation, tied to the cold earth beneath their home. The first Winterfell wasn't even a castle, it was the crypts. A tomb before it was a fortress, and every Stark since has been buried there. Their spirits, sealed in darkness. By ancient custom, an iron sword was laid across each lord's lap, to keep the spirits from rising, to keep them trapped. Someone long ago must have performed powerful magic to bind them there. Not just one Stark, but all of them. Because in this world, magic always demands two things: intent and sacrifice. Only death can pay for life. There is power in a king's blood. And somewhere in that power, the Starks were cursed to endure. When Bran connected with the Weirwood through Bloodraven's cave, he saw glimpses of the past, memories carved into the roots of the trees. He saw faces long dead, his father, Benjen, Lyanna, and further still back in time, a bearded man forced to his knees before the heart tree. A white-haired woman stepped forward, bronze sickle in hand. Bran screamed, "No!" But the past could not hear him. The woman drew the blade across the man's throat. Blood poured into the earth, crimson against the snow. Bran could taste it, the blood of his own ancestor. It was a sacrifice. A Stark sacrificed before the Weirwood, a ritual to bind souls to Winterfell, to keep them there. What if that sacrifice was the Night's King himself? Or his brother Brandon the Breaker? Or perhaps Bran the Builder? Maybe it doesn't matter which one. because what matters is this. A Stark was offered to the old gods in blood, sealing his house in eternal bondage. The legend of the Night's King may not be literal truth, but it carries echoes of something real. A Lord Commander who betrayed his vows, a man of Winterfell who bound his bloodline to darkness, and maybe that's why the Starks can never leave. Why their spirits linger beneath the cold stones, waiting, watching, bound until the final winter. Perhaps it is punishment. Perhaps it is duty. Or perhaps it is both. Because if the Night's King truly was a Stark, then the Starks themselves may one day have to rise from those crypts to face the others again. And that is a chilling thought.